I give up on you.
At least I could make you laugh this morning.
I was laughing before
No,
you
you
even
weren't
started.
laughing. You were just in one corner. But the Princess of Africa. Good morning. How you doing?
I can't help you. I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Do not be like Pepper this week, please. Just be yourself. So great things happening. Hope you all had a great weekend. Um, Interesting news coming out in the world of sports. The Live Golf Tournament is now applying to have ranking points, so their players can have something to look forward to. Yes, they're
These
here.
guys are really just going ahead.
I'm telling you. So that's one news. In other news, in the FINA championships, they have banned transgender women from competing at the tournament if you transitioned after you hit male puberty, because that's where the advantage is. So if you if you already hit male puberty before you transitioned, you can't compete with cisgender women. So and they are now they voted on it, and so at this world championships that's going on right now, um it's football that's making us watch swimming. No, there's no football, so we're watching swimming. But if you did that, then you can't compete then. And they're also discussing having an open category for the genders that have transitioned. So yes,
Okay.
a separate category, which is why I'm looking at the rest of sports saying, well, the people in FINA, they don't have two heads. They are human beings like you. So they've thought this through. They're like, okay, there are clearly advantages, which has been scientifically and practically proven. So we're going to solve this problem. We'll have a different category. They're still discussing that. However, for the championships today that are going on right now, transgender women are banned if you had hit male puberty before you transitioned.
Well, that's a good one. But hey, you can be part of the show simply by sending messages to us on WhatsApp 0809 We're streaming live on YouTube, Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Hi, YouTube. We see you. Also, tweet us at Smooth 981 FM. Leave a comment on all the platforms. And here's what to expect of the show. Super Falcons looking beyond Bayana. And Nigeria's Tobi Amusan sets new record at Paris Diamond League. Max Verstappen holds over Carlos Sainz to extend championship lead, and Matteo Berterini beats Filip Krajinovic to retain title. Mbappe accuses Federation boss of ignoring racist abuse, and Manchester United CEO secretly filmed saying club burnt through cash. Also, Sadio Mane, Liverpool striker, to join Bayern Munich in deal worth up to £35 million. These are the stories we'll be discussing this morning.
So they are basically buying that good player for peanuts. These Germans and their efficiency.
And we move in straight into the sports. So Nigeria striker Asisa Oshoala says her side is looking beyond facing title rival South Africa at this year's Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, saying, I don't think the opening game is a decider of the tournament. And by the way, it's not only South Africa we will be facing, it's a whole tournament.
Yes, so a lot of people talking about that showdown between Nigeria and South Africa, because from the last time Nigeria won the tournament in 2018 up till now, South Africa has faced Nigeria 3 times, and they've won Nigeria 2 out of those 3 times. The most recent one coming in the Aisha Buhari Cup last year. Yeah, so the tides seem to have turned. And so everybody's talking about that match of Super Eagles, Bayana, Super Falcons, sorry, Bayana, and Asat is like, you know what? The three other matches in this group. Sorry, there are 3 matches in this group, so that South Africa match is not the decider. But it's a huge deal this time. A lot of news coming in. So Desire Opara Nozie and Ihezo will not be attending the Women's African Cup of Nations this year in Morocco. They are not injured, but they are in China, and there are some border restrictions. That's why they will not be able to join up with the team. So they have been replaced, and that's where a few people will be questioning that, you know what, a major tournament and we're missing some key players. But I mean, Anamimo is not, if if you follow women football, Anamimo is an experienced player. The question is, how will she fit as a starter with the Super Falcons? So those are the changes we look forward to seeing how they'll play out. But that's the news coming in now. So the Super Falcons will be off to Morocco sometime during the week to get ready for the tournament, which takes place on the 2nd of July. So
All right. And Nigeria's Tobi Amusan sets a new African record as she finished in pole position in the 100-meter hurdle in 12:41 seconds at the Diamond League meet in Paris, France.
yes, so if you know anything about Tobi Amusan, she has been exceptional this season, and just trying to improve. But if even in this race again, I say this thing every time she comes into the finals. You know, she would go through the heats, get to the semifinals brilliantly, then she will get to the finals and she will stutter. And this Diamond League, she stuttered again. She didn't start off well. She didn't leave the blocks well. She didn't leave the blocks in time. And she still set this new African record. The last African record was set by her.
Wow.
Yes, after she broke Gloria Loze's record, but she was one that was holding the previous African record of 0.42 seconds. Now she's shaved it off to 0.41 seconds. But she didn't leave the blocks very early, only for her to still come out, win the race, and set this record. And said is the third best time so far. She's still behind the Olympic champion who had set I think 12.37 seconds. And then the US record holder who said 12.40 seconds. So she's still 1 second, just 1 second behind that one. But she's clearly one of the fastest women. She's now at the top of the standings for the hurdles. But brilliant news for her. She comes after that. She comes back to Nigeria. So I mean, everybody that is lining up at the starting lineup with her, just probably knows that she's the one going to Commonwealth Games. They know, right? Or are they still arguing? Well, anything can happen on the day. But yeah, she's coming back to Nigeria. She's going to be in Benin with the rest of the athletes trying to vie for their position at the Commonwealth Games. But yeah, she's favorite to go.
As you were just
Amazing
talking,
stuff,
I was just trying to imagine how many seconds it would take me to finish a 100-meter race, and this girl does it in 12 seconds.
No, hurdles actually. Just you will run and jump. I
man.
will
It's not
stop
just
halfway.
sprints.
After the first hurdle,
After the first one, I'm like, okay, guys, so where's the chair?
they
And
said
this person does it in 12 seconds.
I just be like, but they said you should try. I've tried. I don't have to win.
She's impressive, man. She is impressive. All right, so let's take it over to the Canadian Grand Prix, where Red Bull's Max Verstappen held off a late challenge from Ferrari's Carlos Sainz to win. And Lewis Hamilton and George Russell took third and fourth for Mercedes, as Ferrari's Charles Leclerc recovered to fifth from the back of the grid.
Yes, another major weekend for Ferrari, but this time it was planned. With Charles Leclerc, they're like, you know what, we're just going to take all the engine units we need and collect all the penalties in this particular race, and then we'll deal with it from Silverstone on out. We'll just go back to a championship glory. So that's what they had to do with Charles Leclerc. But Ferrari were fast. However, all through the weekend, Verstappen was dominant. It seemed like he had everything under control. When he needed to be fast, he was fast. When he didn't need to prove a point, he didn't need to prove a point. All through the practice sessions, it was a little tricky. And then especially for P3, because it rained all of Saturday. So P3, it was the likes of Marcos Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, and Pierre Gasly that were top three in the practice session. Yes, it was a crazy Saturday. And then qualifying happened. And so because of the rain, everybody expected that, it was going to level things out. And it did, because Alonso came second. He was P2 after Q3. So it was Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, and then Carlos Sainz. That's what the rain did to people. But when the race started proper, you expected to see a battle between Red Bull and Ferrari, and that didn't come until the last, I think, 10-15 laps of the race. But always the Red Bull just had enough pace, especially coming out of the corners, to stay ahead of Ferrari. So yes, Ferrari were fast, but they were not fast enough. And that's how they beat Red Bull. For Charles Leclerc, he did all he could. Sometimes he was held up by Esteban Ocon. Sometimes he was held up. I think there was a time he was held up by Bottas, but eventually, he just managed to make it through to fifth. For the second Red Bull, Sergio Perez had a problem, so after the first 3 laps of the race, he just parked in one corner. He was done. The car was not going anywhere. And Christian Horner said it was gearbox issues. But the big news is that Mercedes is finally finding their way into this, because they did have pace on Sunday. We can't say praise God yet, because it was just you're looking at it and you're like, they will have pace this weekend, and next weekend by the time the pieces they can put it back together, the pace will just fly.
At least something is happening.
Yeah,
because
something happened.
At this point, we're like, I was.
Yeah, they're
I
not feeling
like
it.
that.
Yes,
I don't think of them like that.
Yeah, they're making the same times at some point as the leaders, as Verstappen and Carlos Sainz. However, you could still say that they were not as fast as those guys, but they're improving, which is far better than where they were a few weeks back. So that's the big news coming out of there. But for Max Verstappen, he's kind of strolling into this. Partly because Ferrari haven't gotten their acts together, but also because the car and the driver are working very well together.
All right, let's take some of your comments. We're due for a break. When we do come back, we'll bring you some big stories from Mbappe.
All right, real quick, because we need to get into that break. Let's take this one in from Ronson, who says it's a welcome development by FINA. I always think those transsexuals, transgendered people always have an undue advantage in female sports, especially like this South African athlete Caster Semenya, who
Caster
was
not transgender.
hermaphrodite. And yeah, so not
Where,
transgendered.
Russell, where do you get your facts from? Caster
Let's
is
get-
not transgender.
Let's take a break.
Get into that
Elevator music.
Where did Russell get Caster being
You see, I've
transgender?
not even mentioned any names.
Exactly. Caster is not transgender.
Welcome back to another weekend of the most amazing events locally and globally.
Oh, you got it right.
Because I was like,
Russell, they are not transgender.
Is
Bisexual means a different thing, Russell. If you're watching on YouTube, bisexual is a completely different thing for watching.
Let's try it.
I swear, that thing you just said to Russell is just something else.
Ah,
Oh, goodness. I can't believe you said bisexual. I'm glad you used
2 years payable. You must be joking.
I'm glad you used your sense to do that thing for him. You're just like, you just saw, by what? Are we in the locker room?
See, I was
Russell,
confused.
watch on YouTube and know. Bisexual is a completely different conversation. So there's transgender and then there's cisgender. So, and Caster is not transgender.
Oh, this is so nice. With BQ and laundry. Oh, 2021. I'm so sorry. Wait, when was it updated? Maybe that's why. I knew it was too good to be true.
I'm so impressed.
Ah,
No, a lot of people are confused about certain things. Uh,
let's see where this is.
Even some guy, some athletics head, when I was talking of somebody, he actually said to me, that one a man now. I was like, no, sir, she's not a man. Like, they don't know the difference. They don't know that DSD is a real thing. You know, when I was growing up, I was really sheltered. The first day I came out and saw somebody with a deformity. It messed my mind up. I was like, what did the person do to be deformed? So a lot of people don't know. I've not seen things. She's a girl. She just has high testosterone. It's the weirdest things that get us. but we'll all be all right.
Hey, we're not choosing what we'll do for.
Yes, well.
Chaos? I don't even know.
Which one had a lot of messages?
I don't even know. Lagos is chaotic. That's the one that had messages. Father Lord, 8 parking spaces.
They're not late in Lagos. That's what I'm saying.
There's
I need
no
lace.
missing in Lagos. That's part of the chaos.
And we're back inside the locker room for the next 15 minutes to bring you all the big stories here. Teega is still in the studio. Shokwe Martins and Victor Pepple. Keep your messages coming in on WhatsApp. It's 0809 444 0981.
And don't forget to leave it up on the live stream as well. Your comments always welcome there. YouTube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. And Olain Ogba up on WhatsApp says, Amusan is a great talent. I strongly think what is missing is a psychologist that will help her overcome the effect of the final. And Mercedes' prayers are gradually getting answered. I just hope it's not the Nigerian thing. 1 step forward, 3 steps backwards. And I'm sure the FINA thing will definitely go to court soon. However, it's a good one. And Teega, transfer. We will soon start asking some people how markets.
I'm telling you.
And that's what Ola from Ogba says. Whilst Jesse from Ojo says,
Please, Teega, in the transgender news you just gave, are you saying someone like Bob Risky cannot compete? Just citing an example. He's trying to joke there.
Next story, please.
next story indeed.
All right. Martin Berrettini underlined his Wimbledon credentials by beating Filip Krajinovic to claim the Queen's title for a second year in a row. And the Italian second seed put in another strong serving performance to beat Serbia's Krajinovic 7-5, 6-4. There's too many emotions. I want to cry. That's what she said. Says the last thing I expected was to come back from the surgery and win 2 titles in a row.
Yes, huge one for him. He missed a lot of the beginning part of the year because he had to do that elbow surgery, and then he comes back last week. The week before, beats Murray in Stuttgart in the final, and then goes to Queens and defends his title by beating Krajinovic. Amazing week he had all through. Still, you could still see that there was some struggles with the elbow when he had to serve, but I think it was more rust than a complete change of the service motion. So great one for him on that one. So he's now gone, I think, maybe 18 or so matches on grass without losing. If my numbers are correct, I think the only person he has lost to is Novak Djokovic from Wimbledon last year. That's how long he's been winning on grass court. So of course, if you are thinking with Wimbledon just a few days away, he's definitely one of the front runners there. In other news, in Halle in Germany, new world number 1 Daniel Medvedev took to the court against Hubert Hurkacz, and he lost gallantly. Now, that's his second loss in a row, because last weekend he was also in the final and he lost in that final. And then this final, he loses in this final. But that was not the big news out of there. The big news is, if you notice, there's some times when players are frustrated, they start shouting at their bench. Now, it's probably an agreement. They're like, okay, if you have any frustration, let it out on me so that you can concentrate on your match. But Medvedev's curse words have been increasing from the quarterfinal to the semi-final, and the final it got so much that when he was frustrated in the first set where he eventually lost 6-1, he was cursing too much, and then he cursed too much, and his coach the last time he cursed at his coach just carried his bag and walked out of the stadium.
Gosh.
Like, yeah. And then his wife just covered her face like, oh my God, it's done. So I'm still waiting for news of that relationship, if he just walked out of the stadium because he was done, or he walked out of the stadium because he's not coming back to Daniel Medvedev. Because it'll be ridiculous for him to lose his coach a few days to Wimbledon. I kid you not. Everybody said, like, uh-oh.
Wow.
It's not happening. Yeah, it was happening. The coach, not one word. He did not, because on during the semi-final, I thought he went a bit too much. Because there was one time he let out a curse-laden sentence. And then his wife was so embarrassed, but she just kept a straight face. His wife is the best poker player. She just kept a straight face, and his coach also kept a straight face. And then the very next point he won, they applauded. I was like, hold on, if that were me, that's not happening, So, but by semi-final, I thought he went too far. But final, the guy was done. So I want to see if they've separated officially or if he was just angry yesterday. So wait to see how that news pans out with the men's tournament. In the women's tournament, as usual,
his wife is not collecting evidence. Yeah. That's all I can say. That poker face.
She's been with him a while though. She's part of his team. She's not a wag. She has a job on his team. So I want to see how that turns out. I can't wait to be a fly on the wall in their conversations though. Don't shout at me again.
If you were a fly on the wall in that conversation, they will kill you.
Yeah, they kill me. And the way he was frustrated.
He'll be like, want to take you out on the coast.
Exactly.
And you're not like, there's a fly.
He will swat everything in his sight. But in the women's news, Ons Jabeur again won another final. Bad news for Belinda Bencic. She injured her ankle during the final, so I hope she will still be fit enough to. I don't know what the extent of the injury is, but we wait to hear from her and see if she'll be able to feature at Wimbledon. But for Ons Jabeur, another title. This African woman, she came to Nigeria once to play a tournament some years back. Yeah, but she's not. That was years back. That she's clearly not her mate. She's gone very far in WTA. Yeah, won another title. So congratulations to her on that achievement.
Oh, up on YouTube, Chimabi Victor says Teega is not only the queen of, he called her the princess, but not only the queen of Africa, but queen of the world. Wishing the Super Falcons the very best of luck at the tournament. Teega's gender always makes us proud, unlike the other one.
Yes, unlike Purple's gender.
It used to be Coyote.
No, we have moved out to Purple.
Okay. All right. And France international Kylian Mbappe on Sunday accused the president of the French Football Federation of ignoring racist abuse after his penalty miss at Euro 2020. Now, Le Gret said, and I quote, he, that's Mbappe, considered that the federation had not defended him after his missed penalty and the criticism on social networks. And on Sunday, Mbappe responded on Twitter, regretting La Gaet had not taken into account the racism of which he would have been a victim.
Yes, so here's what happened. After he missed the penalty, France crashed out of the tournament as usual. Once a black player just misses the penalty, count to 3.
Exactly.
The next thing is racist.
That monkey did not help us. I really
it's like
that.
Clockwork. It happens, and you will not. If you bet on it, you will make big money. And that's what happened to Mbappe. So Mbappe actually spoke with the president and said, "I'm not even angry that people are angry that I missed penalty. If it was they're just abusing me for missing a penalty, that's not a problem. But this is clearly racist abuse." And the guy came out to say that Mbappe felt like they didn't support him because he missed the penalty. The guy read the room, and this is the same guy that had come out to say that there is barely any racism in football. That's what. Yes, the same guy
slipped on a banana peel.
This guy, that there's barely any racism in football. Only for him to say that, and then some days later, the French police now come out to say they are investigating some racist insults against Mbappe and some other players on the French team. Like, how can you be the federation president and you not protect, even if you don't want to protect the rest like Kimpembe and you say, okay, they're not big name players. This is Kylian Mbappe. Stand up with your full chest. It just tells you how much, because people, like I said, people often think that racism is just the attack, but there is a casual racism that is the ignorance of the racism itself. That's another level of racism, and that's the worst kind, and that's the one that this guy so far has exhibited to me. And I don't think he should be federation president. But then again, I said that again about the Italian Serie A president, and he won an election to a president. So I mean, everybody's completely tone deaf. So it's a tough one, and it comes on the back of also FIFA releasing a report recently that half the players in AFCON, I think it was FIFA on one cable with one cable network, I will not mention their name, that did this thing, and they found a report saying that half the players in AFCON and in the Euros were racially abused.
So, Teega, here's the thing. We have seen the amount of racism that comes in to the players of of a different uh, ethnicity and whatnot, race. What exactly can be done about it? I don't want to turn this into Freshly Pressed or anything, but it's so ridiculous and it's so outrageous when you see it. So what's like the best response that you have seen?
So I haven't seen any good response because so here's what it is.
Oh wow.
Here's what it is. If when the federation president says there is barely any racism, what do you expect that the response will be?
But that's just one. That's one.
No. But that's the federation president. So that's the head of the whole France board.
Mhm.
I know.
So you can
what I'm
imagine
saying
all
is-
the other federation presidents what they think. We have not heard them
Ah.
speak.
Mm.
So I've told you about the Italian guy.
Mm.
I've told you about this guy. That's Italy. That's France.
Mhm.
You don't know how these people really
So there's
think.
no one that has
So
had
so
a,
so no.
even medium response.
The,
I'm
the
not asking
England
for
the
good
England
anymore.
coach has a great response, but there's only so much he can do.
All right, Teega, quickly before we go, let's talk about Liverpool agreeing for a 41 million euro. That's about 35.1 million pounds deal to sell Sadio Mane to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, but I think that deal happened because Sadio Mane had already said I want to move. It wasn't a negotiation with Mo Salah. Mo Salah is asking for 400k a week. That's completely different. That's a different conversation. Sadio Mane said I want to leave. That's all. He just said I want to leave. So there was no you can't negotiate with the person that wants to go. And I think that's what dropped the price a little because that's about the same price that Tottenham bought Yves Bissouma. In what reality is Sadio Mane and Yves Bissouma on the same level?
Mm.
I don't get it.
Apparently in this one.
But when a player says he wants to go, it makes the negotiation a little easier.
Yeah, they're like, come on, now. It's not like you're gonna stay.
Exactly. It's not like Mbappe deal that you keep pricing the money and he wants to
Mm.
stay. No, this is different. But it's going to be a tough one for Liverpool. They've already started to find replacements. But for Sadio Mane, I want to see how he will adapt to Bayern Munich. I mean, he's a fantastic player, and he's a great team player, so he should have no problem. But I want to see how that works out.
Maybe when the shock of it all wears off, he's like, wait, they really took me for that low.
No. He'll be paying. He'll be paid well. I think he's going to be one of the highest paid Africans on this deal. I'm just saying that the money that Liverpool made was not the kind of money I would have expected them to make.
But at Liverpool, was he not receiving about 41 million?
Yeah, but at Liverpool, no, it's not his salary. It's a transfer fee that I'm talking about here. And so Liverpool should have made more money off him. Think about Gabriel Jesus that was not playing for Man City, and Arsenal are trying to buy him, and Manchester City are increasing the price to 60M for the guy that is on the bench. This is the guy that was playing regularly.
I'm playing well.
I'm playing well.
Mm-hmm.
And people were calling him a Ballon d'Or statement.
Well, he's the one that
But
said
hold
I
on,
want to
though.
go.
What does that doesn't mean anything for like his value going forward, right? Or what does that mean?
No.
That's the question.
No. His value has increased from what they're paying him at Liverpool.
Mhm.
It's just, I mean, I'm talking as a Liverpool person. If I'm a Liverpool businessman, that's not how much. Do you understand? That's not the money I want to make. If I'm going to sell someone like Sadio Mane, 70M, come with your money.
But he's not going to stay. So what
I know.
All right, we need to go. Thank you very much, Teega, for being a part of the show today. You can catch her on Twitter at Teega Supreme. All right, and tag us into that conversation as well. It's Smooth981 FM on Twitter. Let's bring you Lagos Talks at 9 o'clock. Hey, Lagos, you will be talking. My name is Victor Peppo.
I'm Shakwa Martins. See you in just a bit. 9 on the dot.
Yeah, that was it. That was the thing. That's the thing for Bayern Munich.
Oh my god, I'm loving the advert for the women's Africa Cup of Nations.
Oh, okay.
The golden ball.
Oh,
and
okay.
the kick and pass. Very lovely.
I'm waiting to see the Euros because they're on.